guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. A great big shout out to my channel members for supporting my channel. Thank you. I was watching YouTube today, and it's upcoming Hobonichi season. It starts September 1st for the January starts 2024. For most of it, the One Piece stuff and maybe some of their extra stuff doesn't come out till October, so I do have some time. But when I was watching her video, it really got me thinking, okay, so I just assumed I was going to get another Hobonichi Weeks, and anything else I got on top of that would just be for funsies. But I've been thinking about how I'm going to approach my daily, weekly, whatever. And so it got me thinking, and it got me into some of my stuff that I wanted to kind of share with you about my thought process. So this is my Hobonichi Weeks. For this year, I do have the One Piece January Start English edition, and that only came in a regular. For 2022, I did get the Mega, and as you can see, if I stack these up, this is a chunky girl. And this is already getting chunky. Now, when I was doing setup for 2023 and realized I don't have all of those notes pages, it did throw me a bit of a loop because there were just some things I wanted to include, but I couldn't. Some things that I really pared down because I didn't use all of the pages back here. I wish there was a medium size where it didn't have as many as this, but it had more than this. But I'm glad that I stuck to the regular because I think this is just too much. And especially if I pare things down, then I don't actually need all those note pages. And as I've gotten busier and I've had some health issues this year, a lot of the things that I used to do in the back has just kind of fallen by the wayside. So on a weekly basis, I change things up. I generally stick to the horizontal. I'll go either side. Sometimes I'll do sort of a dashboard. I've been including lots of different things on it just because it makes it interesting for me. Because if I'm interested in the weekly either setup or the colors or the deco, then it's more likely that I'm going to come in here. But for this week, and I've already done the video for this, it should have been up this previous Wednesday, I'm trying a layout that's similar to the weekly layout in the Hobonichi Weeks cousin. And from what I can see online, the Hobonichi cousin Avec does not have that. So it has a monthly setup like this right here, and then it goes into a daily, and I can actually show you that in a little bit. But I wanted to try out this weekly setup that's done on a vertical because I am not a planner. I'm more of an archivist or a journaler where I'm just writing all of my completed tasks. I'm not actually planning anything out. And then the other sections actually mean something to me and can change from a weekly basis. And so I'll see how this goes for a few weeks. And if this works, then yes, I will sacrifice on the deco side, but it'll work functionally for me. And then the other sections, I can figure out what I'm going to use with this because I definitely am someone who doesn't strive for planner peace. I don't believe in that for me personally because I mean, clearly as my life changes, as my needs change, then I just pivot and see, okay, so this isn't working, or I think it could work better. How can I adjust it and so that I stay in one system? Okay, so that's my Hobonichi Weeks, and the likelihood that I'm going to stay in this system because I do like how small and compact it is pretty high. But I have this now. This is just sort of an art journal for me. Again, I love One Piece. And this is a Hobonichi Weeks notebook in the A6 size. Now, this is definitely intriguing to me by way of size because I do commute a few days a week into the office and I don't want anything that's too heavy. Now, A6 is not my preferred size, but from a weight standpoint, especially as it gets heavier as the year goes by because of all the stuff in it, then this might be perfect. Now, because this is a notebook, it's just graphs, but I did a tester and I could definitely get, again, that weekly setup system that is so intriguing to me. So I'd have the 5 days of my regular work week, and then this could be either deco or some additional things. Now, this is all based on the fact that my office is extremely short-staffed, and so I am pulling job duties from 2 other people plus my own. And so I do get a lot more done during the workday. I'm working more hours, I'm skipping lunch, I'm starting early. And so my task list has gotten longer, and this is taking into account that I want that extra space for that. But that's not going to be something that's forever, at least I hope not. But it does give me the flexibility that, okay, yes, I'd have to draw it in every single week, but it's something that I used to do, so I'm not that fussed about it. But then on the other side, I may not need all of that space to be functional. And so it's just trying to find that sweet spot. It is wider, but it is shorter. And so where I get more space this way, I lose space this way if I'm comparing it to the weeks. So that's definitely a consideration, an A6 notebook where I just draw in on a weekly basis. Now, I do have an A6 Hobonichi Avec. It's a couple of years old. This cover was given to me by my friend Luann, so thank you. I love it, and I always do a cover on cover. I know it's horrible for filming purposes because of the glare, but I want the cover underneath to be pristine. And so even though this is a canvas one, I always prefer it. Now, this is back from 2022. And this was how I was going to do sort of like a daily art journal. And so it is decorative in the front. But what it is it's just 6 months worth of monthly calendars. Actually 7, because it gives you 1 month to forward plan before you do the second half of the Avec, because with this particular planner, and it's covered, but it's 2 notebooks for the year, 6 months and 6 months. And then it goes into some note pages, and then it goes into daily pages. And I'm like, okay, well, if I get the Avec, because it is definitely more intriguing to me to get 2 smaller notebooks than 1 big notebook in the A6 size, then on the daily, instead of having a week overview, which is nice and it seems to work with my brain, this would give me all of the space to do all of my tasks, quotes and things, but this might be too much space. And if I'm trying to get an overview of what I've done that week or the hours that I've done, then I'd really have to incorporate something on here just to keep track of it so that I do have a bird's eye view of the particular week, not by way of task, but maybe by hours or location or whatever, and then do the daily. That just seems a little humbug, and I don't know that I could maintain it, and the way that my brain works, I don't know that it would like it. Now, I do like a day type of planner system, but definitely more something that's going to be, if I were journaling, let's see, because I'd set these pages up. And so what I was doing is, instead of doing a day a page, I was just going to do a week a spread. And then it was just going to be the interesting things that I did that particular week. Or like here, it was just 2 days because there was a lot going on. And I kind of like the thought of that. So if I were to get something like this, I don't even know that I'd need the pages, but because I had it, I could at least take a look at it and see, okay, well, would this work instead of the other 2 systems that I have? But back in 2021, I actually was working out of an A5 Stalogy. And so I have this Moterm cover, love it, love this color. I never actually changed any of this. Astology has similar paperwork to Hobonichi. If you were to ask me which one I prefer, honestly, I don't care. I never got fussed about the type of paper. I just love that it's thin, so it's not heavy, because as much as I love an Archer and Olive or a Maybelline Co. or a very thick journal that's heavyweight paper like 120, 160, 180 GSM, those are thick and they are heavy, and it's something that I'd have to transport back and forth. Again, cover on cover. But what I was doing in here was I would set up, because it's just essentially a blank notebook, I would set up a monthly calendar, and I do have a stamp for that. And then I would do a week on 2 pages. And it definitely is a lot of space for me to get in all of the things that I wanted. And so the A5 size, again, is my preferred size, but is it too much space? I'm not sure. Now, because I had this for a week, I suppose I could do some setup, because there's actually some blank pages in here, and then take this to work and see, okay, so is this too much space, or is it plenty of space, plus I get all the deco that I want? I'm not 100% sure, but I like that I have something on hand that I can refer to, because this was just a really easy setup that I did. So it's actually a week on one page, and then some additional things on this side here. But I do love the look of it, and it's not too heavy. Strangely enough, my weeks actually feels heavier than this one. And I don't know if it's because I do have more stuff in here. And so this could be a consideration where either I get another Stalogy, and this is a half-year Stalogy because it's not that thick. And then I just do my monthly spreads as I was doing before. Or I do the weekly spread and kind of do it like a Hobonichi cousin, where I've got all the monthlies together, although to be perfectly honest, I don't really use a lot of that. And then I do my weekly spread, and if I wanted to, I could do dailies, although honestly, I never do that as well. But then some of the other things I have in my Hobonichi weeks in the back end, I could also incorporate in this, because I don't know that I'd need all of the pages if I take out like the monthly and even just any of the deco. So it's definitely something for me to think about. Now, just looking at this kind of makes me happy, not gonna lie. And honestly, if they have a notebook in the one piece, although I can decorate a notebook, then I might lean towards this. It's just, I'm definitely a creature of habit, so I prefer to start my year one way and continue the year that way. And this Hobonichi Weeks has been my everyday carry, because really every other kind of journal that I have in my system is more art journally than it is functional, something that I'm in all the time. And so I'm not 100% sure which way I'm going to go. Again, I might want to test this out, because while it's not that heavy, it is still a bit, well, it's almost 2 times the size. And so I'd have to see, okay, with the files and everything that I'm lugging back and forth, does this even make sense to take into consideration? Oh, I do love this cover. So we'll see. I like that I have things on hand that I can even look at to kind of determine what it is that I need for the upcoming year. And I will be testing things out. And for me, the real tester is just actually using it and taking it to work. And so it might actually come down to it where I have 3 systems with me, because it's going to go in here. Because if I need to account for my time work-wise, this is where I'm going to go. But yeah, lots of thoughts. It's not something I ever really considered before, but this is working fine. I'm just thinking maybe there's something that can work better. But then also thinking what I need right now may not be what I need in January of 2024, or what I need in January 2024 may be completely different from what I need in July 2024. And so I don't like to do a lot of future planning like that, but I'm just trying to figure out, because I don't want to buy a lot of extra things, where is my dollars best going to be suited and appropriate for me? Yeah, so actually no answers, but I wanted to kind of take you through my thought process and the things that I had on hand, just to give you an idea if you are looking forward to your own systems for 2024, then maybe just look through what you've had in the past and figure out, okay, what worked, what didn't, and knowing that sometimes life just happens and you need to pivot, what would be best suited to accommodate that? And that's really where I am right now. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.